AM 790 Talk and Business presents The Coalition, a weekly one-hour show that looks at all sides of local, regional, and national news, as well as current events. Join us now for The Coalition.
And we are The Coalition, live on AM 790, your source for news, talk, and business. We are outrage porn free. We are issues driven. We can be found on coalitionradio.us. Facebook.com/The Coalition Radio, and of course on the mighty Twitter, Coalition_radio. Outrages, insults, personal defamations, character assassinations can be sent to Twitter at PO Taxpayer. Joining me is Dave Fisher, my co-host. I am the PO Taxpayer. Dave, welcome back for another exciting week.
It's been a fun week in Dave Fisher's world, that's for sure.
The chickens have, in fact, come home to roost. I've been waiting all the way to say that. Dave, you've managed to offend a significant part of the Woonsocket elite. Dave, let me offer you my heartfelt congratulations.
I think elite is a strong word to use, but yeah, there's for a while now there's been a push to legalize backyard chickens in Woonsocket, which seems like a really innocuous.
I was about to say innocuous is
the most like, and so it's taken forever because people are asking inane questions. I mean, we had people in from the Conservation Law Foundation, from the state veterinarian came down and said like there should be absolutely no problem with this, right. And it still took forever and ever. And Woonsocket enacted the most onerous backyard chicken ordinance there is in the United States for the low cost of $374. And if you live in a single family home, you can be afforded the privilege of having 4 hens in your backyard.
Outstanding.
So I wrote a somewhat satirical, I would say very satirical piece, given all the egg puns that I threw in there.
Which it can be found at coalitionradio.us on our blog page.
That's right. So I wrote this piece about a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom luxury chicken coop available in the luxurious north end of Woonsocket. Of course, it was on a sunny side of the street, and right. People were scrambling to shell out money for this.
Right.
I mean, it was completely absurd, and that's why I wrote it, to kind of point out the absurdity of this process that's taken to allow people to have 4 chickens in their backyard.
Right, but you threw in the T word, didn't you?
I did. I called our local zoning board. Dun dun dun. Thugs.
Thug life in Woonsocket.
Thug life in Woonsocket, if you're on the zoning board. To which a couple of members of my zoning board took offense. And in honesty, I've seen really nothing but thuggish behavior from the entire city council, the zoning board, members of the community. This is a kid who's like 20. He was like 20 years old when he started this whole thing. Okay, he's now a grad student at Brown University.
Now that he's retired, he's got time to work on it.
He's possibly the most mature and responsible 22-year-old that the city of Woonsocket has ever produced.
Right.
Okay, this kid started raising chickens for eggs because his sister has gastrointestinal diseases and she can't eat store-bought eggs.
So let me just jump in. White privilege seems to be the term this week that folks in the white community are using. So, it's okie dokie if you can afford the $1.50 an egg from a legacy breed at whole paycheck. But if you've got to raise your own, stinks to be you.
Right, and frankly, the way the law is written, the people who stand to benefit the most from raising their own food in their backyard, I don't know, the poor.
Yeah.
They actually can't do it because the law is written for people who own or reside in single-family homes, and of course, I'm sure the owner would have to sign off if you were renting a single-family home. And the $374 entrance fee,
$90 a chicken.
Like what family out there who's struggling to put food on their table who says, hey, you know what, maybe we can spend a few bucks and build a chicken coop and have our own eggs and have a sustainable long-term source of food,
mm-hmm.
Well, we can't do that anymore. No. That's off the table for us.
Right. So the chest-thumping overlords, and when we get to a bigger studio, we'll cue the Star Wars music. Have decided that this isn't good for common folk, and yet at the same time, let's just say a few of them have exhibited a healthy, shall we say, disdain for people of lesser means?
Sure. Are you comfortable with me naming names here on the show?
I'm the guy who calls our state speaker Paulie Walnuts.
That's true.
Okay.
So one member of, actually he's an alternate member of our zoning board of review. His name is Richard Fagnant, and he posts some pretty outrageous and, I mean, what I consider offensive and borderline threatening things on his Facebook page. Directed towards people of the Muslim faith, and then suggesting that if you don't agree with him, he will, quote, slap the pig teeth right out of your mouth.
Excellent. A calm, measured response. That's
exactly. A very thoughtful and appropriate response.
You know what this could all lead to? After he does that, this all could lead to him walking down I-95.
in protest.
In protest.
Now
right.
Here's my thing. I'm a writer. I make my living with what meager living I do make. I make with the written English word, and I'll go to the mat for anybody's right to say anything at any time to anyone in any way that they see fit as a private citizen. As a private citizen, that's your right. I think the standard changes when you become an elected or appointed official, especially in the role of something like the zoning board, where your impartiality is paramount.
Right. Because you're being asked, in a sense, make life, if you will, altering decisions on people's economic futures.
Sure, their homes, their businesses, their...
Now, at the same time, there's a popular internet meme running around the conservative set that would equate, and this is actually pretty offensive, so I'm not going to make light of this, would equate food stamp recipients with animals at our national park, the tagline being, you shouldn't feed either because they'll get used to it. And he felt free, despite the fact that he is a zoning official for the city of Woonsocket, to post that on his Facebook page and then follow that up by a statement clearly showing that that's how he actually thinks. This isn't some lame attempt at going, look at this is silly. No, right. This is, right.
Not in so many words, but saying, I wholeheartely agree with this sentiment.
Right. So this is in Wooney, brought to you by Paycheck Baldelli Hunt, who's never seen a family member that she can't hire. This is the change that we were alluded to. This was all going to change post-election.
Well, and here's the thing, and I think it's more prescient right now, given in the wake of not only, and I don't want to put this on Ferguson because I think that's conflating two different issues, but the protests that have gone on, not only in Boston, in Providence, and all over this country, that are bringing light to an issue that most, and I'm going to say this, most white folks don't think about racism because they have no frame of reference to it. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they've never been on the other side of it, so they don't see it as a problem.
Right.
There's
no frame of reference. There's no perspective. There's nothing relevant until something bad happens to them.
Right. And it's all it takes for evil to flourish is for good people to stand by and do nothing. Right. And I saw this on his Facebook page, and I said, I'm done with it. Not in my city. Basically, this is outrageous, and this guy deserves to be taken off the zoning board.
No, agreed. And again, the reaction as they circle the wagons is, hey, he apologized. Okay.
He took it down from his Facebook page.
And then posted something, because I can still see it. He posted something effective. You got to be careful with what you post. No bleep, Sherlock.
But the point is, as a public official, okay, so this is another, you hear this from public officials all the time when they get caught in something. Oh, watch what you put in writing. The deputy minority whippersnapper in the Senate, Nicholas Kettle, said as much when he insulted the homeless as well.
Right. So it's a fundamental disrespect that isn't seen as disrespect because it's a core belief.
But what I find outrageous is the reaction is not one of thoughtful penitence.
No.
It is watch what you put in writing.
Exactly.
Which is just it's disgusting.
Right. Now, as you know, Dave, at 11 o'clock last night on I-95 when I called you, I'm a little verklempt these days. All right. I consider myself a libertarian. I'm a card-carrying libertarian. I'm a member of the Libertarian Party of Rhode Island. I truly believe that you can't tell because it's never really been tried here in Rhode Island, but I truly believe that small government allows people to be unshackled and pursue their dreams. Now, one of the themes of this show is the fact that a number of the beliefs of the Green Party and a number of beliefs of the Libertarian Party are actually similar. Anti-corporatism, anti-statism, ending the war on drugs. All of those things lend to themselves. And while we like to joke that we have different ways of achieving those goals and different perspectives, we all agree that individual rights are paramount in this country. Or at least I would have liked to have thought that people that I am politically affiliated with would have agreed with that. I have been frankly horrified this week to the point of wanting to, as the proverbial, throw up in my Wheaties. As we all know, this week, Interstate 93, both portions of it north and south of the city, were tied up in an action of nonviolent civil disobedience. Individuals from an organization, I believe, called Black Lives Matter got together, and I thought it was pretty well done. It was pretty effective. I work up in the Boston area, so I can tell you a lot of my friends were impacted, but literally chained themselves to cement barrels and planted themselves in the middle of the highway, at which point the collective outrage of, I don't know, the everyman was spurred by the outrage porn generating multi-mass media here both in the state of Rhode Island and across New England, because God forbid people should engage in civil disobedience. Now, there are several, irony is going to, white privilege and irony, if we were the, if there was a secret word of the day where the duck dropped down, a la the Marx Brothers show, all right, Groucho, it would be either white privilege or irony, because clearly the forces out there understand neither. Now, let's talk about civil disobedience. First off, is it fair to say that we would have voting rights for African Americans if there was not civil disobedience?
No, we would not.
Okay. And what is this weekend, ironically, the anniversary of?
Some guy named Martin Luther King
marched on Selma.
Right. He did some stuff for people that aren't white that, because I'm white, I really don't know too much about.
Right. But fair to say, at some point during what is generally lauded as one of the seminal events in American civil rights history, he tied up traffic, didn't he?
He most certainly did.
In fact, he may have even done it on a few occasions. In fact, people were just, yeah. Okay. So let's take that. Now, across social media, and sometimes I internalize this too much. Across social media, people raise their voice in protest. And in a minute, I'm going to introduce that we have a very special guest in the studio. I'm going to get his reaction to this. But I've got to finish this diatribe, so bear with me. This has been welling up at me because I spend far too much time in mass transportation and automobiles. So, I listen to people who are alleged patriots, people who believe in small government, people who oppose NDAA, people who oppose the Patriot Act, who claim to be violently in support of organizations that would free the common man, talk about these protesters as if they were Bull Connors themselves, the legendary water hose bearing, baseball bat toting,
the Pinkertons,
right? Just ready to level African American voters as they cross that bridge in Selma. Or, God forbid, try to attend the University of Alabama, or engage in any of the things that we now consider. As we do in every civil rights moment, we look back 30 years, 40 years, and we say, my God, how could we have behaved like that? What were those people thinking? So now, flash forward to the year 2015, late 2014, in direct reaction to the oppression of civil rights that all of us agree on, as libertarians, Green Party members, progressive Democrats, we all agree that stop and frisk is bad. We all agree that the war on drugs is fundamentally evil and is causing many of the societal challenges that we face today. We all agree on that, all right? And somebody screws up a traffic pattern. And these people need to be water hosed. They need. I had
run over, water hose.
I had libertarians telling me that
charged in civil suits for whatever the GDP of Boston would have been that day.
Right. They were telling me that these people needed to be charged as terrorists under the Patriot Act. This is the Patriot Act that all of these tin pot patriots had sworn to defeat once their regressionist political party assumed office. Are you kidding me? But I was told on social media that drawing a conclusion between Selma and what happened this week in Boston was ludicrous. I disagree.